Realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
Hi, it's Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and maybe the biggest savings in the Midwest are happening right now at Koppel. When you buy a new GMC or Chevrolet anywhere else, you might be paying too much. But right now, we're going to give you over $10,000 off list or 1.9% APR on select new Chevrolets or GMCs. So please give us a shot before you buy anywhere else. Please stop in the dealership or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Must trade and finance with a roof credit.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Play ball! Ready to unleash the fun with Salt Dogs Baseball? Join us at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed games running through August. Stay ahead of the game by visiting saltdogs.com for updates on exciting promotions, giveaways, and events happening each week. Experience a change-up from your typical family night, or make it a Grand Slam good time with friends and coworkers.
Strike three, you're out!
Don't miss the fun happening all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
You're listening to Big Ten Media Days coverage from Indianapolis. Sponsored by 1890 Nebraska, Stevenson Smith Construction, The Complex, Warhorse Casino, and Riddles Jewelry on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I am a huge guy.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Thursday here on the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. I am Rico. Today, at least for the next, half hour, for anybody that missed yesterday's festivities, we will be replaying some of the Matt Rule audio from yesterday's Big Ten Media Days, Nebraska's session. So without further ado, let's get to Matt Rule, who was on the podium for Nebraska yesterday at Big Ten Media Days right here on the Happy Hour. But first, actually, let's thank our wonderful, wonderful sponsors who made it all possible for our guys to head out to Indianapolis and cover the 3-day event in Lucas Oil Stadium. 1890 Nebraska, Stevenson Smith Construction, The Complex here in Lincoln, Warhorse Casino, and Riddles Jewelry. Again, 1890 Stevenson Smith Construction, The Complex, Warhorse Casino, Riddles Jewelry. Thank you so much for allowing our guys to head out to Indianapolis and cover Big Ten Media Days, Nebraska, and all the 17 other Big Ten teams out at Lucas Oil Stadium. Without further ado, here is Matt Rule from the podium yesterday.
Rule enters his second season as head coach of the Huskers, who opened the 2024 campaign on August 31st against UTEP. Coach Rule, welcome. We'll begin with your opening statement.
Good afternoon. Thank you on behalf of our team. I appreciate everyone covering us. Thank you to Commissioner Petiti and the entire Big Ten staff. Welcome to the 4 new teams, especially UCLA, who I spent some time as a student at. So UCLA is always near and dear to my heart. So welcome. Very, very proud to represent the University of Nebraska. We brought 3 of our best student athletes here, Ty Robinson, Isaac Gifford, and Ben Scott. If you'll just allow me for a second, we We brought them. They're all college graduates, over 94 starts, working on their master's degrees. But if anything else, in a day and age in college football where everyone's always talking about who's transferring out, talking about recruiting, these guys and a couple others made the decision to come back and not go to the NFL but play another year. So I'm so grateful to them. I think what we'll see in this new era of college football is the teams that can stay together and have veteran staffs, veteran teams are going to be really good. And I think they've given us a chance to have a really good team this year. So grateful to them. It's been an exciting time for us. It's a great time to be a Husker. Troy Dannon coming in and taking over, I think it's really brought a positive energy to the athletic department. 5 Big Ten championships this year in the athletic department, multiple athletes representing us in the Olympics. Finished 22nd in the all sports standings. And so now it's our time to do our part. We think we have a really good team, and we think that we're a team that people are going to have to deal with this year. And I've liked the way that they've worked. We finished the semester with a 3.241 cum GPA, the highest in school history. The guys are getting it done in the weight room. They're getting it done in the classroom. Now we've got to get it done on Saturdays. So with that, I'll take your questions.
Coach Lynn Harrington, State Line Par 5. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. So let's talk about last season. It's no mystery. Nebraska led the Big Ten with 16 interceptions. However, it's year 2. How do you see the offense evolving under Scott Satterfield, and now that you have players like Dylan Raiola in the roster?
Yeah, I thought last year, we played 3 quarterbacks. I think when you go back and look at a lot of things that happened, a lot of guys did do a lot of good things. It's obviously overshadowed with numbers like you said. But, Marcus is a coach that I trust and believe in. We brought in Glenn Thomas to be the quarterback's coach, who we have a lot of history, the 3 of us together. And we have a lot of skill. One of the things that happened to us last year is, a bunch of our receivers we were counting on early got hurt. 2 of our tailbacks got hurt. A couple of linemen got hurt. And in the midst of that adversity, I'm always looking for hey, how do we get better? And we put the Jalen Lloyds in, the Malachi Coleman's, young players. And by the end of the year, Jalen and Malachi were good players. So now we enter year 2, and those guys are a year older. Instead of redshirting, they now know what to expect. We have depth at receiver. We have depth in the running back room. We went out and recruited some really good players. We brought some guys in the portal like Isaiah Nayor and Jamal Banks. So we have a deep receiver room, and we have a deep running back room. We have a veteran offensive line, and we have 3 quarterbacks that we know can play. And so I expect us to be great on defense, and I expect us to make a real jump on offense.
Last row on your right side.
Hey, Coach. Trey Redfield with NTV News and Carney all the way here in the back. Wanted to ask about John Butler. How does his hire help take this defensive back group to new heights in your second year here in Nebraska?
Well, John's a guy I've known a long time. And I think anytime that you can hire someone on your staff as a position coach who's been a coordinator, they come in with another set of eyes. I've had a chance to coach against John when I was at Temple. He was at Penn State. Obviously in the NFL, he was in Buffalo. Just think about in recruiting for those guys who want to go to the NFL and they're talking to us. I've been in those draft rooms, but John's coached Micah Hyde. He's coached Jordan Poyer. He's coached top 5 secondaries. And so, it was unfortunate we had to change that late in the year, but we wouldn't have gotten John earlier. He was at a point where he was ready to get back in and start coaching. It just kind of so happened that I was on vacation at the beach about 2 towns away from where he was. So it was all pretty fortuitous. We sat down, and Tony White's one of the best coaches in college football. He's an amazing defensive coordinator. Terrence Knighton is an amazing defensive line coach. Rob Dvorak, excellent young linebacker coach. I think John will bring some experience, a second set of eyes, and a guy that the players can trust will make them better.
5th row on your left side.
Hi, Coach. Abby Harris, Go Big Redcast. After completing your first season in the Big Ten, what advice do you wish you would have received?
Well, one of the things about being at Nebraska, you do get a lot of advice. Coach Osborne's there all the time to help. Coach Solich is there to help. Coach Osborne tried to warn me about the weather. He tried to warn me about the wind, and I heard it, but I didn't. It was until it was like 30 miles an hour in my face that I was like, oh, Coach Osborne wasn't lying. I think the biggest thing I regret from last year was when you're in pro football, it's kind of quiet. and there aren't bands and things like that. The crowd isn't. And we started our first 2 games last year on the road in hostile environments. Minnesota, they did a great job. They had a gold out for their first game. And so just getting readjusted to the crowd noise and the passion of the fans in the Big Ten, the atmospheres we're going to have to go into, we have to be better on the road. And so I wish I would have taken that. I would have taken that to heart and gotten that advice. But I am so blessed. I mean, I get to coach college football, and some days I've got George Darlington, legendary secondary coach. I mean, I might have Tommy Frazier or Eric Crouch. I might have Coach Osborne there. I might have Coach Solich there. Like, it's a football coach's dream.
First row on your right side.
Kenneth Berry, Touchdown to Tangents. Coach, with all your experience coming from, you go back to the Big 12 and Baylor. Defensively, how excited are you knowing you got all these former Pac-12 schools coming in and they run a lot of up-tempo, and obviously the Big Ten smash mouth football? How excited are you to kind of take on that challenge? And when it comes to just the team, how do you feel like they're kind of really leaning into your message? And do you feel like it's similar to when you kind of had that big breakout season at Baylor?
Yeah, I think you can tell when a team is ready to make the turn in their body language, in the way that they walk around the building. It's just confidence. For young people nowadays, there's nothing more than confidence. There's such a fear of failure because everything's evaluated. And I think when I walk through our locker rooms and I walk through our weight rooms and I walk out in the field, I see a confident team. I see a team that understands that games are going to come down to the final seconds, and the narrative about close losses, we're going to turn that into close wins. In terms of the teams coming in from the West Coast, I mean, I don't want to speak for them. I do know that travel and weather are going to be real things in this new Big Ten. Having to play and then travel maybe 5 or 6 hours and then play again the next week. Those are all things that the best minds will find the best solutions to. And so we're trying to model everything out as we go. You might play 1 week and it might be 85 degrees, and you might play the next week up in Madison, Wisconsin, and it might be really, really, really cold. And so all of us have our own challenges. I'm kind of focused on ours, but I do know this. Deshaun Foster was a player when I was a GA. Lincoln Riley is one of my great friends in coaching. I've coached against him multiple times. I have a lot of respect for the University of Washington. I think Dan Lanning's a great coach, so I think it's only made the conference better.
On your right side here, first row.
Heather Dinich with ESPN. I hear this confidence from you, but also coming at a time when you do have to go to USC and you're going to play Coach Foster. How do you balance that challenge of being on the brink of something good with the timing of these teams coming into the league and the Big Ten, just quite frankly, being so much more difficult to win? Yeah,
I think that's a great question. Like I laugh with Troy sometimes. Like if Haven Fields, our sport administrator, would have said, "Hey, I want to add USC and UCLA to the non-con," and I'd have thrown a fit. Like, I'm not playing those guys. Well, here they are. So I think when you look at the Big Ten, playing 9 conference games, more importantly, playing 5 road conference games. Not every conference plays 5 roads. Some of the 18 leagues, they play 4 road games, and sometimes one's like a neutral site, so they play 3 where you have to go into someone else's stadium. We have to, in the Big Ten, we have to go into someone else's stadium in our league 5 times and duke it out. So, but I think we'll have a lot of access to the college football playoff, and I think 4 teams from this league should get in every year because this is the best league. This is the NFL of college football on my mind. It stretches from coast to coast, different time zones, different weather. That's not to diminish any other league. The SEC is amazing. These other leagues are great, but the challenge in the Big Ten is going to be really difficult. Travel, weather, and great teams. For us, we think every game's a big game because we're playing in it. And you didn't come to Nebraska because you wanted to play an FCS slate. You came here because you want the challenge of, we get to go to the Coliseum and play football. How lucky are we? And so that's why you come to Nebraska. That's why in recruiting, like, competitiveness is like my number one trait, because I want guys who want to prove it on the field, not anywhere else.
On your left side, Coach.
Coach Caleb Adams, Sports Philanthropy Network. 4 numbers, 3.241. You were the first coach to come up and talk about the high marks academically of your team. I want to give you a moment to talk about the importance of education, and I want to applaud you for being the first coach to mention that.
Well, that's very kind, and I'm sure all my colleagues are very proud of all the things that they've done academically as well. You know, I'm the son of a high school teacher. My dad's a teacher and minister. My mother gave her life to working with women. You know, we lived in New York City, and football has brought me so much. You know, football brought me a bachelor's degree. It brought me a master's degree. I was on my way to my PhD, and then got lucky enough to get a coaching job, and this is my passion. So we're proud of the players. We have 20 graduates heading into the season. We'll have 10 more in December. So when we go to our bowl game, we'll have 30 college graduates on our team. And so at the end of the day, you know, we all want to win. But if you don't have a purpose that states that we want to raise great men, that we want our players, you know, I want our players someday to look back and say, my life is better because I played at the University of Nebraska and I played for those coaches. And I can think of no better way of doing that than education. Followed closely by community service and giving back. So we're going to try to win on the football field and off.
We got one final question on the back right.
Hi, Coach. Kylan Mills with the Big Ten Network. Great to see you. Something you've said is that it's a priority this season to address the turnover margin. -17 last year. It's been an issue that's plagued this program beyond just that. Just curious, as you look ahead to fall camp, how do you try to address that? And where do you start in trying to shift those numbers?
Yeah, you know, it's a blemish. You know, it's nothing I've ever done before to be -17, right? And so, we gave the ball away 31 times. We only took it away 14. So both sides have onus, but to give the ball away 31 times, and our season would have been different had that not happened. The great news is then when you look back at a season where we were 5-7, and with 2 games left, that we were still in the math to get to Indianapolis. And you have something that outrageous, you understand that, hey, if we just fix 1 or 2 things, we can be a really good team. We don't have to do an overhaul. We don't have to fire a bunch of coaches. We don't have to change the offense and defense. We really just have to win the turnover battle. And so I think anytime you want to seek change, the first thing you need is buy-in. I think by the end of the year, our players truly understood that, man, we have to protect the football and we have to take it away. We've practiced it. The thing that I've tried to do is, and I want to be a lifelong learner. I'm in Texas this past week at coaching clinics, and I'm sitting listening to coaches talk, high school coaches, college coaches, about the way they're doing things, because we have to find a way to go from -17 to +7. We have to find a way to get that done. And so we're going to practice it. We're going to coach it. We're going to, you know, allocate playing time based upon who protects the ball, but also who takes it away. And but I think the buy-in came from our players early on. They recognize we need to do this because we have a really good football team. And you know what? If you turn the ball over 3 times, you're probably going to have a close loss. The close losses at Nebraska are not an affliction. It's, you know, we don't need to get out a voodoo doll. We need to hold the ball properly and knock it out, make one more catch, have a little bit more confidence, and go make one more play and win a couple games. And all of a sudden, we'll be talking in a different tone.
Coach Rule, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Go Big Red.
That was Matt Rule at the main podium at Big Ten Media Days yesterday for the University of Nebraska. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll get a little bit more Matt Rule. He sat down with us yesterday. He sat down with our folks over in Indianapolis yesterday, and we'll replay that interview coming up next on the Happy Hour 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to Big Ten Media Days coverage from Indianapolis. Sponsored by 1890 Nebraska, Stevens & Smith Construction, The Complex, Warhorse Casino, and Reynolds Jewelry on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month. Hurry.
This deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef.
The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
The next generation of Huskers starts now. Join the official Kids Club of Nebraska Athletics today to score access to select home games, a discount at the team store, and endless Husker spirit. The free JV team gets you started with a game credential. Upgrade to the $35 Lil Huskers membership for a welcome box and VIP Lil Huskers experiences. Fuel your Husker spirit. Join the Kids Club today at huskers.com/kidsclub. Go Big Red. Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Alcohol has strained our relationship. Drinking too much can cause harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, we will save our relationship. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Join us on Monday, July 29th at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O to celebrate the company's 40th anniversary. Enjoy 40% off wings all day and your favorite sports talk hosts on air from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come hang with us for the 40th anniversary party on Monday, July 29th at the 68th and O Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Stevens & Smith Construction is a full-service, employee-owned concrete company that specializes in residential and commercial foundations and flatwork. They've been a leader in the concrete industry since 1971, with nearly 250 employees combining for more than 2,000 years of service. With locations in Lincoln, Omaha, and Kansas City, they're united in quality, integrity, and professionalism to create excellence in construction. Learn more today at stevensandsmith.com.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Have an anniversary coming up? I've got you covered. Celebrate your love with the timeless elegance of jewelry. This anniversary, give the gift of sapphires, emeralds, rubies, or gold. Find the perfect piece that reflects the beauty and depth of your commitment. Whether it's your first anniversary or your 50th, surprise your loved one with a gem as beautiful and rare as she is. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Hi, it's Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and maybe the biggest savings in the Midwest are happening right now at Koppel. When you buy a new GMC or Chevrolet anywhere else, you might be paying too much. But right now, we're going to give you over $10,000 off list or 1.9% APR on select new Chevrolets or GMCs. So please give us a shot before you buy anywhere else. Please stop in the dealership or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Must trade and finance with a roof credit.
You're listening to Big Ten Media Days coverage from Indianapolis. Sponsored by 1890 Nebraska, Stevenson Smith Construction, The Complex, Warhorse Casino, and Riddles Jewelry on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. You're listening to The Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
Herbie the Fourth ate his first solid food today, prompting a response of nothing but steaks all week for the Nebraska offensive line.
Then Enrique Alvarez Clary.
No more peaches and carrots for Herbie the Seventh. Baby food be damned.
Sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the Happy Hour here on 93.7 The Ticket. I am Rico. I will not be talking as we have some more audio from Matt Rule as he sat down with our friends out at Big Ten Media Days yesterday. 93.7 The Ticket's coverage of Big Ten Media Days in Indianapolis was only made possible by and sponsored by 1890 Nebraska, Stevenson Smith Construction, The Complex, Warhorse Casino, and Riddles Jewelry. Again, Matt Rule sat down with our guys yesterday, and here is what he had to say during that session with 93.7 The Ticket.
Matt Rule, head coach extraordinaire in Nebraska. Adam Carricker here. Coach, I got to ask you.
Sir.
I was just saying before, I got to give you a lot of credit, man, just because as we look out on the field here. That's a good one. How the heck do you even sit still watching 18, or now they're like 25 years old, but it used to be 18 to 22 years old, patiently and just hope and pray? Tell me the process, hoping and praying that they actually just walk and chew gum and just run to the right. You know, I mean, it's just because when you turn around and see the view, it's what, 26 yards or whatever it is, and you're sitting there like, okay, we're just running inside zone. You know, we ran it 50 million times.
Right.
Please just take us. You know,
please be thinking about the play and not thinking about what you're doing after the game.
Right.
What happened 2 plays ago? No, that's my world, man.
Yeah,
that's my world.
Oh man. And obviously the world of college football has changed and continue to change. Obviously from when you started at Temple, Baylor, obviously coming up. What's your view on it? And I know you guys have attacked it with the versus not reacting, just being active in it. What's your thought about it and how you guys go about your process? Because I think Nebraska's done a really good job of being, okay with it, but then also making it a positive impact on your program.
Yeah, I think the first thing is like your view might change. I first got in here, I was like, I'm going to take this approach to transfers. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, if I want to keep up, I got to do this now. So I think you have to be really, really malleable. Like you got to change nonstop based upon all the new information. Like if all of a sudden next year they say our roster is 105, I got 150 guys.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to bring in 20 more in recruiting class. So, so I'm, and you know what? No one really cares. Like I can sit there and complain, but at the end of the day, hey, Matt, just get to 105.
Yeah.
So I have to figure out the best way to do it while still being able to sleep with myself at night. Like, man, I didn't do wrong by these kids. So, NIL, like sometimes people will tell me they don't believe in NIL. I'm like, well, there's no belief anymore. It's there. And if you want to win, we have to do it. Like, we're good at it. I'm so grateful to 1890, so grateful to the Pede family. Like we wouldn't even be alive right now if they hadn't done what they've done. Mm-hmm. But we still have a long way to go to catch these other guys. I'm saying like people that are playing that. Sorry, fellas, you can tell I don't do this very often. People see playing that college football game right now, and I tell them all like, hey, if you didn't have this, if you have to play somebody, you don't have the same roster that someone else has, you'd be like, what's going on? So. Yeah. We need NIL. We need we need to take advantage of all the things that are here. And so it's not time really for philosophy. It's really time for action and getting to work, man. So we've done a good job, but we got to do a better job in the coming years. So it's going to get harder.
You know, as I've seen a couple of players around town, and you see them all the time. Obviously, we've all decided, especially me and AG, we're just talking about the quiet confidence that they have, and from the work. What have you seen as the biggest difference from year 1 to year 2, just in your whole program, but more importantly, the guys you have in your roster?
I think you guys just said it. Like, they're walking around like you know what a good team looks like. Right. You know what a good player looks like. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to say too much. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a great line in a Ghetto Boy song where he says, like, you know, I don't. It's like real gangsters don't say much. Like if you know you're good, I'm paraphrasing that. But if you know you're good, but they know they're good from the, you said it, from the work they've done. My question to them, or my challenge in training camp, is going to be like, what's the look in your eye going to be with 5 minutes left and it's a 1-score game? Because that's going to happen about 10 times this year. And are you going to be like, oh no, here we go again? Or are you going to be like, hey, I wasn't here in 2021. I don't want to hear about 2022. I'm here right now. And that's the challenge for us. And so as a staff, when we get there this fall, you know, our players, they're really good. They're really good young men. They love the fans. Yeah. They want to win so badly. But sometimes when you want to win so much, you play a little scared. Right. You got to go out there and want to just dominate the guy in front of you and see what happens. And so that's the change. But I do love the way they've worked. I mean, they've worked hard. They look better. They look good. I'm expecting them to be a good team.
Yeah. So how do you, because the 1-score games, the 1-score losses, the close games, you know, it's been a bugaboo in recent years, not breaking any news to you there. What's the biggest secret to getting over that hurdle, getting that first win, which is always the toughest one in a close game, and then things can kind of snowball to you? What's your biggest message to the players about getting over that hurdle?
So I think there's 2 things for me. I think number one, you know, we started this year talking about like, hey, chasing 3, like, because I want them to understand it's not this mountain. Mm-hmm. It's literally like Tommy picked the ball off against Iowa, and the other corner turned and blocked, and he held the guy. And if he doesn't hold him, we have the ball on the 37-yard line. Maybe we get 1 first down, we kick a field goal. Mm-hmm. We turn the ball over, you know, a guy's wide open. We just throw the ball to the wrong guy, turn the ball over, and then the game's going to go to overtime, and 3 guys miss a tackle, and they kick a field goal. It's just one play.
Little things.
Yeah. And so having them understand, hey, this is why we do all this. I think that's one. I think it's practicing it. Like from day one, like we're going to put the ball down. There's 5 minutes left in the game. There's 2 minutes left in the game. And we've always done it. We just have to do it more and do it better. And then I think the third thing, and I really believe this, Adam, with all my heart, I have to want to get into those games. Like sometimes you get to a game, you're like, man, I hope we beat these guys by 50. And we all want to get to that point. Mm-hmm. But I want to see this team go play UTEP and have it be a 3-point score with 4 minutes left. Everyone might be mad, like, why is it a 3-point game against UTEP? I'll be happy because I want our guys to finally go win a close game. Mm-hmm. And once we win a close game, we'll win 2, then we'll win 3, and that's the progression. But for me, I can't want to avoid the close games. I have to want to get into there, and when it gets in there, I need to be excited because the guys will feed off of me. They will feed off the position coaches. You guys have been there before. Right. I've been there before. They haven't necessarily been there for very long, so they need to feed off the older guys.
Yeah, and Coach, you talk about that team culture. So since you got there till now, what's that look like? What's that transformed to now from the coaching? Because I've watched spring ball practices. I watched the way the coaches and yourself talk to players running running on the field and off the field in the weight room. How's that changed since then to now?
Yeah, I think when I got there, and I don't want to take any shots because I think guys did a lot of jobs, so I'm not there. But I think like the thing that we've tried to do is just get them to understand like. I can only be me if you be you. And you can only be, it's an African proverb called Ubuntu, and we put it up sometimes and go through it. Like in today's day and age where guys are transferring, a lot of times it's like, well, what am I going to get out of this? Right. And we want them to be happy when their teammate's successful. We also want them to understand I can't get what I want if you don't help me, and you can't get it if I don't help you. So this idea of like brotherhood, of iron sharpening iron, of being your brother's keeper. It's why we eat together. It's why it's why I won't let them walk around with headphones in the building like the old school rules. No, I'm trying to actually get you to talk. Yeah, like sit down and talk. And it's why the locker room's alphabetical. Now the seniors have their own area, but it's alphabetical. It's not by number because I don't want you sitting by your position only. Right. So just trying to do all these things to build connections. Because back in the day when I was in the locker room at Penn State in 1993, I didn't have a cell phone. So I just was going to sit there and talk to you. Yeah, well, now they can just be somewhere else all the time. So I think having them be around each other has allowed them to start to push each other. I'm going to now see guys be like, hey, pick it up. Get up here with me. Yep. And it's not demeaning. It's demanding of each other. And if we have that, that's what you guys had.
Right.
Like
That's
every
expected.
great Husker football player I talk to, it's like this culture of like accountability. Like, and I think we're starting to get headed in that direction.
Good. Man, we know you didn't have a cell phone, but the biggest question, did you have a pager?
You know what?
Because, man, we had pagers.
I absolutely had a pager.
That's my man.
And I was one of the first guys at Penn State to get a cell phone. I remember taking it out, and I had my new little phone, and I got clowned. They were like, "Who do you think you are?"
Yeah.
I put that thing home. I thought,
Yeah.
I never
Was it one of
taken
those
it out.
giant bag phones?
Yeah, the back.
Right. It was the one that had the battery like that.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
On the back.
Yeah.
I thought I was that guy.
Oh man.
You know, one thing I think is that kind of gets, overlooked. I always say that a lot of times fans or, the people that, evaluate the program, you always say, the easy thing is, it's the offensive line. I think it's steadily improved. Talk about the maturation of them as a group, Coach Donnie or all of them all together, because quietly, like the rest of the team, they have systematically and strategically gotten better. And obviously, when you watch the spring game, they look better too.
Yeah, I think they've done a great job. And, even last season, I think I don't know, we finished in the league 3rd or 4th in rushing.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't do that if your offensive line's not blocking the right guys
Right.
and moving people. What I'll say is we did that with probably a historically poor passing game. And so if you know that they can't really throw it too much, then you're going to blitz, you're going to load the box. So we were able to run now sometimes we ran the quarterback, but we were able to run the ball into those difficult boxes. Like this year, with the skill we have outside, with the 3 quarterbacks that we have, I expect us to be able to throw the ball when they think we're going to run it, run the ball when they think we're going to be able to throw it. Like even our sacks last year, like, man, like it's 3rd and 12. They know we're dropping back.
Right.
The ends are 9 feet wide.
Yeah.
They're coming off the edge. Like we'll have a chance to be more balanced, which I think will show the offensive line's ability even more. But we got a lot of starts on that O-line. We got a lot of guys who played a lot of football, and they're bigger, they're stronger. Christian's done a great job with their weights.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be one of the leaders of our team.
I want to ask you because when you were at Baylor, people always ask about being physical. I think correct me if I'm wrong, from a defensive perspective, I felt like you guys offensively did a really cool thing where you guys were physical out there on the perimeter. And whether you're throwing, I call it smoke screens, now routes, but you had like big tight ends, kind of H-backs that can move, and you guys used to pound people. Talk about that, because people always think of being physical, like just line up, Dallas Cowboys, Emmitt Smith, and just bowl over people. But I think there's a different way you can be physical, especially in this day and age of college football. If you're physical out in the perimeter, it doesn't matter if you got Warren Sapp in the middle, because now Jay Foreman's got to deal with the Lyndon Myers and all them.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah, no, I think one of the terms we use in our program is dominant contact.
Right.
And we don't want to accept contact. We want dominant contact, and we want it really at every position. So whether you're a corner tackling, you're a 3 technique, getting off and knocking, obviously guys blocking, but on the perimeter, we expect our receivers to play with dominant contact. And so, Ron still shows every year the video of like the receivers blocking in 19 whatever, and it's like, man, it's impressive. Now the rules were a little different,
yeah.
But you know what? Like we want that. I want that corner that's got to cover us on 3rd and 7 to have had a hard day getting blocked by, a 220-pound. We have receivers that could be tight, like Nayor, Jamal Banks. Those guys are big men.
Yeah.
And I want them to impose their will physically on the opponent. So that allowed for a lot of one-on-ones, and you're able to spread the field but still be physical. That's a great thing.
Yeah.
I got one last question. D-line, Nash, Ty, everybody's coming back, high expectations. So 2 parts. How is Nash doing with putting healthy weight back on, because he lost it for wrestling? Part 2, how good can that D-line be this year?
I think they can be as good as anyone in the country. What we have is we have depth. I truly believe we could get down to guys that are running with the 3s and 4s and still play winning football.
Nice.
And I think Nash is doing a great job coming back. I think if anything, like I didn't want him at 338. I wanted him at 310 to 315.
Yeah.
Terrence does a great job with him. Jamari's 250, 255 now. He looks great. MJ Sherman, he's kind of that Jack Backer, but really he's a D lineman, right?
Yeah.
So he's done a great job. Prince Will's healthy and back. So I think you start going down. Like Elijah Judy's probably one of our best nickel pass rushers. When Elijah's in the game, he can be dominant. So I think we can get 3 or 4 depth strings down and still be strong. And the reason why that matters is we don't have to have Nash and Ty play 65,
Stay fresh, rotate.
Well, we have a dream of playing January 20th. We have a dream of playing in the national championship game someday. That's 16 games. And you can't have your D-line playing 80 snaps a game for the first it's just not going to work and play at the level you want. So we have some depth, and I'm excited about it.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, we got to go
Thanks,
break.
Coach.
Keith came in and we're breaking, man. Appreciate you stopping.
Yeah. Thanks,
Appreciate,
Coach.
many
Good
stops
seeing you.
today.
I see you rocking the Firethorn hat. I love it.
Yeah, well, you see this right here. It's worn out, and Firethorn's been wearing me out. But anyway, yeah, as we know,
That's right.
and that's a shot at Firethorn.
Yeah, cut the rough.
Yeah, cut the rough. Anyways, thanks, Matt. Good luck
Appreciate
today.
it, Coach.
Yeah,
Thank you.
good luck.
That was Matt Rule sitting down with our guys, Amon Green, Adam Carricker, Jay Foreman, yesterday at Big Ten Media Days. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, Austin Orman, Jake Bakoven, and myself give you a little bit of our rundown of Big Ten Media Days and some more of the happenings going on around the sports world here on the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to Big Ten Media Days coverage from Indianapolis. Sponsored by 1890 Nebraska, Stevenson Smith Construction, The Complex, Warhorse Casino, and Riddles Jewelry on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first.
At Doane University, your future is uniquely yours, and our world-class liberal arts education is just the beginning.
We invite you to schedule your campus visit and experience why Doane University will start you on your journey to your future career.
Learn more by scheduling your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit. See you soon.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, Center Park Road.
Stevenson Smith Construction is a full-service employee-owned concrete company that specializes in residential and commercial foundations and flat work. They've been a leader in the concrete industry since 1971, with nearly 250 employees combining for more than 2,000 years of service. With locations in Lincoln, Omaha, and Kansas City, they're united in quality, integrity, and professionalism to create excellence in construction. Learn more today at stevensonsmith.com.
Football season is nearly here, and your long wait for year 2 of Matt Rule is almost over. Gear up for the season with 93.7 The Ticket's coverage of Big Ten Media Days from July 23rd to the 25th, live from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Jay Foreman, Amon Green, Adam Carricker, Chancellor Brewington, Derek Pearson, Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, and Nick Sainert will be in Indy for our shows Tuesday through Thursday. Getting the latest news from Nebraska and everyone else around the conference. Coverage of Big Ten Media Days is brought to you by 1890 Nebraska, Stevenson Smith Construction, The Complex, Warhorse Casino, and Riddles Jewelry.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Riddles Jewelry is excited to be celebrating 65 years. 65 years of so many incredible memories celebrating with each of your special moments. In celebration of the 65th Riddles Jewelry anniversary, we will be offering up to 40% off all engagement rings and all diamond fashion jewelry. The excitement doesn't stop there. Riddles Jewelry is also offering 18 months, 0% interest and $0 down financing on all qualifying purchases. Riddles Jewelry has always been known for incredible customer service, one of the largest selections of engagement rings, and don't forget about the on-site jeweler. Come celebrate with us at Riddles Jewelry, your one-stop diamond shop with exclusive Levian jewelry, Pandora Charm jewelry, and more. All at Riddles inside Gateway Mall.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone here again with Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I hear your lot is packed with new and pre-owned cars again. I know everyone would love to hear all about it. Please tell us all about it.
Thanks, Charlie. It's taken some time, but we have more than 150 new Hondas in stock right now with hundreds on the way. including over 30 new Ridgelines in stock right now. But we've been telling everyone now, Charlie, is it's really cool that someone can come in and look at a new Honda and drive away with it that day.
That's great. Like you said, it's taken a while, but now there are hundreds to choose from. How about pre-owned, Andy?
As always, Charlie, we have over 100 to choose from, all makes and models, with prices starting at under $10,000.
Well, maybe it's time. You come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Play ball! Summertime is here, and so is another action-packed baseball season with the Lincoln Salt Dogs. Bring your whole crew to Haymarket Park to experience the magic under the lights and the thrill of the game. Enjoy daily specials like Wiener Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, and Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts. Don't miss out on the excitement. Strike three, you're out! Visit saltdogs.com to see this week's promotions and secure your tickets to unleash the fun.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, maybe I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I am a huge guy.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the 93.7 The Ticket Studios here in beautiful Lincoln, Nebraska. It's still Big Ten Media Days, technically, but our guys are on their way home. Some coaches are finishing. I believe they're done speaking now, actually. All the coaches are probably done speaking, might be walking around getting their last bit of interviews in. But this is the Happy Hour here on 93.7 The Ticket, sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting. And I do want to shout out one more time the amazing sponsors who made it possible for all of our guys to head out to Indianapolis, 1890 Nebraska, Stevens and Smith Construction, The Complex, Warhorse Casino, and Riddles Jewelry. As you probably already knew, Nick Sainert will not be joining me here on the Happy Hour, as I am joined by two amazing people who have been helping me out and working extremely hard back here at the station, cutting up clips and doing all of the likes. Austin Orman and Jake Bakoven. Gentlemen, how are you on this Thursday?
You know, it just kind of feels like you're coming off the bench to some degree, right? It feels like the starters played heavy minutes. So I can tell we're not a Tom Thibodeau coach team. The guys have been putting in some good work. We've stayed back there ready for our moment. Haven't had a lot of them, but you know what? Darn it, we're back.
I think it's interesting, too. Just, the first time of 3 days of Big Ten Media Day, SEC did 4 days. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I like 3 or 4 days of anything. Even on vacation, it's like I can't even go home. So I'm interested if they're kind of feeling that out, testing that out. I can imagine Kurt Signetti walking around yelling at people, hoping somebody will pay attention to him right now, because I think a lot of probably the media, your early teams, their reporters have left. There's probably less people in the building, and so I'm just kind of interested in how they do this event next year. I know they've got a heavy presence there in Indianapolis. They announced that they're going to have a lot of the the Big Ten championship games down there. They've kind of gone from buildings to the field. I'm just interested in how they format this moving forward, if this worked.
We heard from the guys, and we kind of noticed it on the first day of Big Ten Media Days. They got a couple of interviews in, but overall, it was great what they were doing. But overall, they were kind of saying, not a lot of people were around Lincoln Riley, which was surprising. The USC coach, one of the 4 new teams in the Big Ten, but not a lot of reporters surrounding USC and wanting to get questions answered by Lincoln Riley. Then the second day, obviously, the Nebraska contingent of media rolls heavy, rolls hard. So there were a lot of people there, but Nebraska was one of the first teams to speak. Or no, they were the final team to speak on Wednesday. Correct?
I thought there was one after them.
and second to last, whatever. They
Nebraska
were one of the
went
last
on
teams.
Wednesday.
Yeah, they went on
Yeah.
Wednesday. And then that contingent, a lot of the Nebraska media ended up leaving after that. So if you're the Big Ten and you're, testing out this 3-day format, potentially looking at a 4-day format, looking at what the SEC did, if I'm the Big Ten, what I'm looking at is what schools bring the most media, and I'm putting them on the final day. Because then there's a possibility of them showing up earlier and asking questions to some of the other teams. Because as you said, Curt Cignetti walking around trying to get somebody to pay attention to him. He's coming out with some pretty good quotes saying that them going to USC is them just going to an old stadium and kicking somebody's butt.
That was great. That was very, very Curt Cignetti. I have a different take. I think you spread the high-profile teams out throughout the days. I think Ohio State needed one more heavy hitter. I think the thought was that it was going to be Wisconsin, but Wisconsin didn't move the needle for anyone at all.
No.
I would have taken one of Oregon or Washington, and probably Washington, and put them day one as well. No, not the heaviest of hitters, but you have to have a headliner each day. I think that day 3 was probably the best between Michigan and Oregon, even though Sharon Moore ended up going last. I think that's probably day 3 was already the biggest deal. With Cignetti, the way that he talked, Loxley, I thought was solid. PJ Fleck's going to get eyeballs whether he wants them or not. Day 2 was pretty solid, right? I mean, Iowa, they're a Big Ten draw. Michigan State, new coach. Nebraska's going to bring all its people. Penn State, a lot of questions with them. And then the 2 LA teams. But really what you did was I think you started it out pretty weak with just Ohio State on day 1. Give them one other, big name school, one other flamboyant coach or personality, or have them be the headliner. That's the team you're propping up. Get all your, conference mumbo jumbo out of the way, really highlight Ohio State, and then you can flow through everyone else the next couple days.
I guess I didn't even notice the first day, like the teams that were there. That is a very, not
It's
to
bad.
sound rude to anybody,
It's
but
bad.
that's a weak day in terms of teams
It
showing
sucks.
up, people that you want to talk to. You've Brett Bielema, David Braun. Everybody wants to talk to Ryan Day in Ohio State, obviously. Then you have Ryan Walters, who could get fired after this year, Greg Schiano, and Luke Fickell. Pretty weak. That is a pretty weak day.
If Wisconsin had won 10 games or, been, fringe top 15, okay, that's fine. You can talk me into them being the second draw. And I don't mean any disrespect to any of these other programs. They just don't move the needle, right? Illinois, I think, is the most boring team in the Big Ten this year. Like, at least Northwestern, what's your follow-up? Purdue, it's okay, Ryan Walters, here's your second year. Your first year wasn't great. We see Rutgers climbing. So the teams themselves are interesting. But you had a week of coverage from SEC Media Days, essentially, right? The 4-day event. And I don't know the exact breakdown of SEC teams. And maybe it's, ESPN, leaning into its SEC coverage. But you heard a lot more from SEC Media Days than I think you did from Big Ten Media Days, because I think you started out a little weak.
Well, and I think you were overshadowed by that giant duck on the river, too. I mean,
True.
Stuff.
Everybody
They opened up with that,
Truth. They're like, oh, there's a giant inflatable duck on the river. Oh, Oregon's here. That's fantastic. So SEC Media Days broke down. They started, 4 days. They started on a Monday. LSU, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Vanderbilt. That's day 1. You have Brian Kelly and Lane Kiffin and Shane Beamer going on day 1.
Sure. Fine.
Tuesday, Georgia, Missouri, Oklahoma, Tennessee. That's a nice day.
Yep.
That's a nice day. Wednesday, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi State, Texas.
That'll do.
A lot of juice.
And then Thursday, Arkansas, Auburn, Kentucky, Texas A&M.
Yeah, there's your worst day.
That's the weakest
Little
of the
less,
day.
yeah.
But that's still, I feel like Sam Pittman's a good quote. I mean, I just like Sam Pittman. Maybe it's just me.
Cuddle
But-
the hog, right?
Yeah. Hugh Freeze at Auburn, Mark Stoops, who was, almost hired at Texas A&M, and then the fans didn't want him. And then you have Mike Elko going back to Texas A&M after what he did at Duke.
But I think even that is illustrative of the point that the SEC is still a deeper league than the Big Ten. You
That is
can go 6 or 7 deep. You can put 2 headliners on each of your first 3 days and still feel pretty good about it. And then you hope that Hugh Freeze says something from Auburn or Sam Pittman does something off the wall to draw attention. Whereas the Big Ten, you're struggling to get 6 deep in terms of the headliners, the guys that are going to say anything. It hurts that Harbaugh's not there for Michigan, right? I mean, Sharon Moore handled it fine, better than, Deshaun Foster did, for example, but he's not Harbaugh in terms of his draw, and that's the defending national champion. So it felt like a little bit of a letdown. Lanning's a good quote. He's new, but it's a lot of, prove it. Oregon, you know what you're going to get from Ryan Day, all the flash and the attention. Lincoln Riley on day 2, you're going to get something. There's going to be a lot for him there. But that day 3, it was better in theory than it was in practice. But I think even just the depth of coaches is better in the SEC, to talk to and in terms of the product on the field.
Well, it's interesting too. I think, the SEC does still have kind of geographically an area to, get to. And, the Big Ten it did feel a little bit odd with the new additions, especially, again, Deshaun Foster is going to get a lot of the negativeness of this, but when you come in and say, I don't know if you guys know too much about LA, it's just kind of like there's a huge disconnect here between, and sometimes there's a lot of people that live in LA that don't have a life, think that there is life outside of LA, but it was just kind of like, yeah, no, we know about UCLA, we know about Los Angeles, it's okay. And so I think part of that is still going to be, just kind of integrating the West Conference, the West Coast teams. And we'll see too. But to your point earlier about the SEC just kind of being deeper and having deeper teams, I love the Big Ten has got, and a Northern team got a championship, but it's still for the last, 2.5 decades been dominated by the SEC. And now when you look at the tiers of the Big Ten, now you throw Oregon in with Ohio State and Michigan, who have been, kind of the bell cows for the Big Ten. But that's kind of where it stops. I know Washington popped up there last year, but you go into this season, you've kind of got Oregon and Ohio State clearly, battling for the top playoff spot. But you get pretty thin pretty quickly because then once you get into, the Penn State territory, we kind of know where they are. They could make the playoffs, but they're probably going to go 10-2, lose the big games, and lose the first round of the playoff. And then after that, you have Iowa, and then you're just kind of in these other teams that are going to fight to get into the top 25. So it's interesting. The Big Ten has done a good job, and especially with having won a championship, it's the right time to do it. But of making it look like they are equals to the SEC when, on the field, it's still an upward battle.
Well, we know that Ohio State can stack up with Georgia and Alabama. We've seen that. Mm-hmm. But then the question is, who's the second best team in the Big Ten? Who's the second best team in the SEC? Who's the third best team in each of these conferences? And I think you can get to 5 or 6 pretty comfortably with SEC teams and feel like, yeah, you're still borderline top 10, probably top 15. Whereas team 3, Penn State, probably top 15, but that's about their ceiling. Where you can talk yourself into Ole Miss being a top 10 team. You can talk yourself into Tennessee if everything breaks right. LSU's been there. Missouri was there last year.
Your new addition in Texas, obviously.
Well, Texas is 2, in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. For me, it's Oregon State, Oregon, or Ohio State, Oregon, and then Penn State at the top of the Big Ten.
Uh-huh.
It's Georgia, Texas, and I trust Ole Miss a little bit more than Bama this year.
LSU?
I'm not sold on.
Without Jaden Daniels?
They'll be top 20. I don't know if they're top 10, but I still think I like LSU's overall talent and product more than I do Iowa.
Missouri?
Prove it.
Not in the top 3, but.
No. Prove it. Tennessee beat Iowa 35-0 in a bowl game last year. Let's not forget that with a fill-in quarterback.
But the fact that we can have this conversation and mention all of these SEC teams, whereas in the Big Ten, you go Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State. What else? You have
Michigan defending
the
national
defending national champs, but you don't have your starting you don't have your star quarterback from last year. You're down a running back. Yes, I know Donovan Edwards is still there, but Blake Corum was the workhorse for that team. You're down your head coach. You're bringing in Sherrone Moore, and yes, I understand that Sherrone Moore in those games where Harbaugh was suspended and couldn't coach, still undefeated in those games. But it's different when you know that he's coming back at some point. It's different when you're coaching, and he's still allowed to coach in practice. He's still allowed to go to practices and help out and set everything up for the game that's coming up on a Saturday. He just can't be there to lay it all out from practice into a game. So now, without him, now Moore is running the show, and he has to do it all on his own. How different is Michigan going to look? Are they going to be the same Michigan team from last year and push to repeat, push to get back into the playoff? It's going to be completely different with them. Well, I mean, I don't know about completely different, but it is going to be different.
Well, Michigan and Bama are in the same boat, and I don't know who I trust more or less. Kalen DeBoer is more proven as a head coach. Michigan probably has the best overall unit, though. That defense is still going to be loaded and scary good. They're similar ships on similar trajectories. I don't want to just go all SEC hype, SEC hype, SEC hype. I trust Bama more, but I still think I trust Alabama more to win 9 games than I do Michigan. Maybe that's a hot take.
No, I agree with you on that. I just think that maybe it's just the history with Alabama, and even though Nick Saban isn't there, you still see what Kalen DeBoer is able to bring in, and it's not like they lost a bunch of pieces from that team. You're returning your starting quarterback, who, if anybody's played the EA college football game, is just unstoppable as a running quarterback. And yes, I understand it's a video game, but still. So with Alabama and what they are returning versus what Michigan lost, yes, Sherrone Moore was there last year and was able to do that, and Kalen DeBoer is coming in and instituting a new offense and a new defense. But with what Alabama has shown in the past and what their roster has looked like before, and Kalen DeBoer's past as a coach, his history as a coach, I do trust Alabama to win more games than Michigan this year, although they are, not to pump the SEC up, playing in the SEC.
I see 3 losses for sure on Michigan's schedule. There's no way Ohio State doesn't beat Michigan in the final game of the year this year. There's no way. Oregon's better than Michigan right now. I think they're more well-rounded. And then I really think Texas beats Michigan week 2. So I think 9-3 is Michigan's regular season ceiling right now. And then all you have to do is trip up once and you're at less than that. On the flip side, for Bama,
they've got Wisconsin early.
They have Wisconsin week 3 in Camp Randall. And then they host Georgia after a bye week. So that's an early bye. Georgia's better than them. They go to Tennessee. That's going to be a tough game. I think those are pretty comparable teams right now. Missouri coming to Tuscaloosa, I think, helps Alabama out with that. Going to LSU isn't necessarily easy. I don't know who I pick in that one right there. And I'm sorry, but I'm not buying Oklahoma this year. I'm really not. I just think they're a bit of a paper tiger. Paper schooner, whatever the heck they are.
It's going to tip over again.
That wasn't a very inspiring 10-win team last year. I mean, Jackson Arnold did not look good in the bowl game. I think the fact that Oklahoma made it respectable had more to do with Arizona falling apart than anything Oklahoma did. I'm not a Brent Venables believer, even in Norman.
I like Brent Venables. I don't like him in Norman, but I like Brent Venables.
He's a great defensive coordinator. We'll see what he does.
Highest paid defensive coordinator in forever. It was pretty impressive what he was doing up in Clemson. But look, the Big Ten media days, as we're kind of getting back onto that final day when you have Michigan and Washington, and you're thinking, oh, we have the defending national champions and the defending or the runner up for national champion on our final day. Everybody's going to want to talk to him. Well, you got a new coach in Sherrone Moore, and you got a new coach in Jedd Fisch. It kind of, for what should have been a headline of Michigan and Washington at the same media days, and the players know each other, and they played against each other last year, it kind of took the oomph out of it with both coaches leaving.
Yeah, and Jedd Fisch, said as much. He said it's a complete reboot, basically, at Washington. And so, and that's interesting. When we talk about maybe the disrespect, I suppose, that you talk about at Michigan, having come in after the national championship at Washington, they're probably not even projected to be a top 25 team. So it's really interesting. And they do. They're replacing like everybody. So we'll just kind of see how that goes. And I'm also interested in long term. That's one that I question, because I think, Jedd Fisch, sometimes a coach can get a lot of credit for what an amazing quarterback can do. And I think Arizona out there, we'll see if that continues under Brett Brennan now. But I'm interested to see where that plays out. But I will say this on Michigan's behalf. I know they're, it's one of those things where they lose so much and there's so much, changing that it's like, okay, they can't possibly be as good as they were before, but there is at least continuity there, as opposed to Alabama, new guy, sheriff coming in town, kind of changing things. Sherrone Moore obviously was able to step in for Harbaugh and win some games last year. And then, they also you mentioned their defense. They've got a tight end that could go first round. They got a running back that could be one of the best in the nation. And so I think you do kind of point to everything that's lost and not think, well, this is Michigan football. This has kind of been a power football team that has taken over, and they've got some pieces coming back. So I'd be surprised, like if you. I don't automatically put Penn State above Michigan. I wouldn't do that. So if I went in the top 3, I might still put Michigan right in there, but it's hard to argue with Ohio State and Oregon. But at the same time, I'm not so sure that Michigan might not beat Ohio State by the end of the year, just because, it is a rivalry game. We've seen how those can turn out. Alabama, Auburn last year, Alabama was way better team. Auburn was able to scare them to the point that they should have beaten them. And Michigan still is going to have the advantage of kind of in the headspace going into that game. So, I mean, we'll see. There's going to be a lot of different things, but like you said, I mean, they do have a tough schedule. And I think that's part of doubting them as well, with Texas, Oregon, and Ohio State, all top 5 teams, all on the docket for Michigan.
I think the good thing for Michigan this year is that it's a strange feeling. At least this is the feeling that I'm getting, is they're the defending national champions. Yeah. But there's no pressure on them, because they're not picked to win the Big Ten. They're not picked to repeat. They're not picked to, a lot of people have them in the playoff, but they're not picked to even make it back to the national championship game. So you're the defending national champions. Like you said, you have all of this talent that is coming back. You have this continuity. You're in this headspace where you're like, yeah, we won. We're a really good team. We can do this. We can do that. But at the same time, there's no pressure on you to do any of that again. You're sitting there in the Big Ten and everybody's picking your rival who you've beat 3 years in a row, and this team who's new to the Big Ten, who you could introduce to Big Ten football when you want to, or when you do face them. And this team that you've beaten year in and year out, who's always finished 3rd place in the Big Ten East that no longer exists, behind you in Penn State. So with absolutely no pressure on Michigan and Sherrone Moore to repeat and to do anything, but having that experience and having that knowledge and that know-how that we can win because we just did it last year, it's got to be a weird but relieving space for the Wolverines to be in.
Yeah, and it's Penn State, right? They're going to find a way to Penn State it. They typically always do.
They'll lose to Indiana.
Is it time to talk about how Penn State is Clemsoning every year?
Yeah.
I feel like we're past due for that conversation. So you probably trust Michigan, the program, a little bit more, but throw me right back on that Penn State bandwagon a little bit. I'm not jumping off yet. I'm not going to do it.
I still like Penn State.
Well, and as far as the depth of the conference, too, I mean, we talked a little bit about it, but Matt Rule specifically said he wants 4 Big Ten teams in. And when they expand the playoffs a little bit, there's talk of making sure that SEC and the Big Ten have, was it 3 representatives? Well, the Big 10, Big 12, and ACC would get 2. But it is kind of interesting, again, because there's quite a drop-off from 4 to 5 in at least our preseason minds and how we see it kind of play out. And so, you kind of already pencil all those teams in if that's who it's going to be. And I think that is the expectation. So, I mean, to fight back a little bit is there might not be a national expectation. There might be lesser expectation, maybe from the outside. But I'm sure in Ann Arbor, they're very interested to see what happens now, because we've seen it in programs all over the country. It's just really hard. We all, the old saying, it's hard to follow the guy, and you're following the guy there that brought Michigan their first title since '97. So
nope.
Shared title as it was.
Your first full title.
Yeah.
Since your half title in '97.
But before that it was like the '60s. So it's just there's a long time. Michigan as the winningest football team in college football has not had a whole lot of titles, and now they're back in title conversation. They definitely are probably going to strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, for a team with 1,000+ wins, it's kind of crazy how they don't have more titles.
Fielding Yost got plenty of them back.
He sure did.
Yeah.
Shout out to Fielding Yost. That's the dude. One of the best coaches.
One-time Nebraska coach, by the way.
True.
Yeah.
That's still, when you look back at older coaches back in the day and just seeing like, oh, Nebraska had this guy and this guy, and it's like, wait, what? He won a title at this school, not in Nebraska though. He's only here for a season. I don't know, weird things like that. But we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about Nebraska's talk at Big Ten Media Days, what was said, what players Matt Rule mentioned, and more on the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies, and it will be hot. We'll see an afternoon high around 96. Tonight, mostly clear and mild with a low around 71. And tomorrow, we'll see more sunshine and another hot afternoon. High again around 96. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Riddles Jewelry is excited to be celebrating 65 years. 65 years of so many incredible memories celebrating with each of your special moments. In celebration of the 65th Riddles Jewelry anniversary, we will be offering up to 40% off all engagement rings and all diamond fashion jewelry. The excitement doesn't stop there. Riddles Jewelry is also offering 18 months, 0% interest, and $0 down financing on all qualifying purchases. Riddles Jewelry has always been known for incredible customer service, one of the largest selections of engagement rings, and don't forget about the on-site jeweler. Come celebrate with us at Riddles Jewelry, your one-stop diamond shop with exclusive Levian jewelry, Pandora Charm jewelry, and more, all at Riddles inside Gateway Mall.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Are you tired of the same old entertainment options? How about something that's truly fun for both kids and adults? Nebraska Knockerball, the new place to go for your private and corporate parties. Step inside one of their inflatable spears and let out stress in a healthy form of exercise. Or try the human foosball, foot darts, yard pong, giant beer pong, basketball Connect 4, and much more. Nebraska Knockerball, specializing in physical, engaging fun. Call Nebraska Knockerball today at 402-460-8724 to learn more or book a reservation now.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today. Husker fans, get ready for another thrilling season at Hibner Stadium with the reigning Big Ten champion Nebraska soccer team. Season tickets for the 2024 season are on sale now. Don't miss your chance to support the Huskers as they go head-to-head with some of the top teams in the country, including Oklahoma State, Penn State, and Duke. Get your tickets today at huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
Join us on Monday, July 29th at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O to celebrate the company's 40th anniversary. Enjoy 40% off wings all day and your favorite sports talk hosts on air from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come hang with us for the 40th anniversary party on Monday, July 29th at the 68th and O Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
When I gave you the cookie, I heard very clearly, I don't think about you, Schmidt.
Why would I think about you?
Because we're friends. We're not animals.
We're men. The only time a man is allowed to think about another man is when that man is Jay Cutler.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Happy Hour 93.7 The Ticket. Rico, Bach, Austin, bringing you our responses to Big Ten Media Days as our fellow Ticket co-workers were out in Indianapolis on their way back now. Some driving, some flying, some will be here before others. But you'll hear all their voices tomorrow as they'll be back in studio here on 1040 O Street.
How many of them do you think, have like travel flu or something?
Ooh, travel flu. That's a dangerous one. I don't think Jake won't, because he has to do his show because early break.
Because he can't.
Early break is important.
Allow him.
Nick, I don't know. Nick might get travel flu. I don't think DP will get travel flu. He'll want to come in here and talk about how everything went.
True.
Jay will be fine.
If Jay's not on the road, going somewhere else.
True. Amon, I don't know if he's headed back here, if he's going back down to Texas.
Yeah, the former athletes are plenty. They've traveled. They're used to this.
They're used to it.
They've done this.
They're used to
quite
it.
a bit.
But don't forget, yes, they're former athletes, but I say this with the utmost respect. They're washed.
That's correct. That's right. It's been a few years.
It's been a little.
It's not the same. They're not the same anymore.
All due respect, you're washed. You won't say that to their faces, though.
Farley, come in here.
Yeah, Farley and Stricker back there talking about, I don't know what they're talking about.
Strick knows he's washed.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
Here comes Farley right now. Hop on the mic, Terrell Farley.
There we go.
We've got him in here. We've got the Hall of Famer, the Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Terrell Farley, the black shirt, y'all, here in the studio with us. Farley, how was your Big Ten Media days off?
Lovely. Still haven't won a football game, but hey.
Man. I have not hopped online and picked a team and gone against somebody else. It's dangerous. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, it is.
I'm still doing my dynasty.
It's crucial.
Trying to win a national
Everybody
title.
wants to play with Oregon, Alabama, Texas, the good teams.
Yeah. Nobody wants to play with the bad team.
I haven't seen a guy line up with me with Nebraska yet, so it's kind of hard to find that.
I'll line up with Nebraska, put Jalen Lloyd in the slot, and have him run a go.
Well, I put Aaron Nolan at quarterback for Ohio State, and he got some wheels. Not that good of a thrower yet, but
his name was Aaron Nolan.
Yeah.
I don't need him to throw. I need him to run. What's your I know that you weren't as plugged in, but I do have one question for you. And it's about Matt Rhule talking about one of the higher rated recruits in this last recruiting cycle for Nebraska, Carter Nelson, recruited as a tight end. We were told by Matt Rhule that he's going to line up at wide receiver as long as he knows what he's doing.
It's good. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing because you got a lot of receivers out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bad thing. The good thing is this kid you can put him anywhere on the field and he can succeed at any moment. So it's a good thing that it's another thing that with him missing spring, how caught up he can get with the passing game so quickly and with just starting summer camp, which is probably going to start next week. So he has to get a little jump on it with the OTAs they're doing, the passing league. That's what we call it, passing league. So he should be okay. I mean, I wish we could have used him at tight end, but like I said, that tight end, that wide receiver group is probably 7, 8, 9 deep now, even 10 deep with Carter Nelson. So we'll have to see how it goes.
I mean, that tight end room is also pretty deep. They've got a lot of bodies there as well. And he's not, like you said, he missed the spring, so he's not as bulked up as some of the other tight ends. Our good friend Steve Mark posted the new heights and weights, the updated heights and weights on the roster for Nebraska. And Carter Nelson, I believe he put on 10 pounds, something along those lines. He's at 230 now. Which is a little light for a tight end.
Yeah, a blocking
A
tight
light
end.
end.
A light end.
A blocking tight end. So it's
Well,
kind
that's
of like
if Nebraska runs the ball the way that they say they want to, he's going to have to block.
Well, not this year, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's also not pretend like Fedoni was some unimpeachable blocker.
That is true.
You know, he was fine, but not elite.
He was big and he could get in the way.
Yeah.
That's the nice way of saying it.
That's actually pretty much what it looked like more than half the time last year. So,
I know you, and it's kind of funny because I know you were. Have you seen the Deshaun Foster clip? Because I know you and Rashawn are expecting big things from UCLA Deshaun Foster this year. He was basically, he had a viral clip that was getting made fun of because his opening
Rico, can you pull that up?
Not very
Do you have
good.
it? No, let me see if I can send it to you real quick.
Did you see that, Drill?
I'll
Oh
send it to your
man,
email.
it might lower your confidence in UCLA a little bit. We'll see. It just Scott Frost knows, not saying anything at the opening a couple years ago was way better than Deshaun Foster trying to say anything.
Well, he's new, Bach. We got to give him a chance.
You
He's
hear this
probably
clip, you'll be done giving him that chance. It was not exactly what you're going for.
He since stated that this is not the talking part is not is part of his game. He's obviously was a really good running back, especially in college, and then in the pros as well. And now transitioning to the coaching side of it. But I didn't have a whole lot of belief in Deshaun Foster to begin with because I thought it was kind of a quick move. Yeah.
All right. Here we go. This was Deshaun Foster, his opening statement at Big.
Man, set us back another 15 years.
Look, it was tough. It was a rough opener.
Is that we have to look for?
First time coach. Haven't probably been the head coach, 4 months, 5 months. New to this game, so you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, it's just like me hopping on the radio for the first time. So, he's probably ashamed about it now, but he could get better over and over. So we can't really just, that's not his downfall, man. It's just he's a new coach and didn't study, didn't prepare anything.
But doesn't that tell you something?
I think that goes more on the media people that at his university than it goes on a head coach.
I mean,
especially a newbie head coach.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have done any better. Like, I'm not gonna pretend that I could have gone up there and filibustered for 15 minutes. And that's kind of what he said. CBS followed him around after that, and he was fine with it. He's like, yeah, it sucks. I'll probably see some jokes about myself on Twitter later. Whatever. But he did his interview with Big Ten Network afterwards, and he was perfectly fine. He did his side session perfectly fine. Like Bach said, he mentioned that he's not much of a talker. He doesn't want to filibuster for 15 minutes. He'd rather people just come see his team play.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's awkward. It's weird, but as long as he's a good coach,
it doesn't matter.
He also tried to text his wife and tweeted out half a sentence, which confused UCLA earlier in the day. And then in a side spot with the Iowa reporters that I saw, he's just they kind of asked him what he knew about Iowa, and he just kind of stood for a second. He's like, "Well, I played with a guy. What was his name?" And then he's like, "Well, what do you guys know about UCLA?" So I just again, maybe it's all a joke, but this does not look good
He's just
for
nervous.
UCLA and Deshaun Foster.
He's just nervous. He's not a media guy.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a media guy to do a little bit of homework. You don't have to talk for 15 minutes. Can you talk for 5? Say, hey, here's what we accomplished last year. Here's who we brought to media days. It's great to be a part of this conference. Like read off a script. All you have to do is
That
type
comes
it
from
out
the
the night
media.
before. Not necessarily.
I blame.
Not necessarily.
Sports information officer.
Yeah.
That's who.
I blame his SID.
Yes.
But as a head coach, you can't be going around, blaming everybody for everything. You're supposed to be
You
in
can.
charge. This is your chance to show the nation what UCLA football is about. That's why I was mad about Scott Frost for not saying anything.
We
and
in
he
LA.
came up with
Even the president has a speech writing team, but he still has to deliver a good speech.
I don't know.
Okay,
I
I'm
don't-
out of here. Y'all are not gonna get me a ticket because I didn't even put any money in.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Don't worry, the parking ticket, go get it.
Those $10 could be added to my GoFund for college football practice field.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's necessary. Your university on college football is looking for more donations, right?
Yeah.
You need more to your NIL fund.
Yeah. We're kind of broke right now.
The T Farley NIL fund.
1 stars and 2 stars don't get it.
They don't. Hey, it's tough, man. It's tough. I'm recruiting a couple. I'm recruiting a couple 5 stars right now, and they don't want to commit.
Were you guys surprised to see Lincoln Riley along that line said that USC is behind in NIL? They're behind in facilities and stuff like that.
And then he also said we're coming fast.
Right. yeah.
So which is it? Like,
So you're behind, but you're also on your way back. How is USC behind in NIL funding? How is USC the premier school in California behind on money wise in bringing in all of this talent when they're so talent laden?
Lakers, Clippers, Dodgers, Angels, Rams, Chargers, Kings. Isn't there another LA hockey team?
I don't know.
But anyways, okay.
Pro
So
sports.
there's 7 teams. California, similar to Florida, right? It's a destination state. So yeah, you might go to college there, but I feel like a lot of people move there from out of state as well. So they might not have the ties to the university. And maybe let's remember just how dysfunctional that athletic department has been over the last 10, 15 years. It hasn't been, a well-run organization.
Yeah, but Snoop
necessarily. Yeah, cool, great. What's he going to pitch in? $420? Call it a day.
$420 million.
I don't know. I don't know about
I
that.
don't know
But
either, but-
USC hasn't exactly been a well-run place. So yeah, they have potential, but they absolutely haven't come anywhere close to maximizing it.
They're a place that generally they make no bones about it. They have to win to get the attention of the city, like you said. There's just so much else going on there. Never forget, this is a place that puts up giant jerseys to make it look like there's more people in their stadium. Right? They're everywhere. So I mean, they really do. If they're not winning, they're not the talk of the town. And they can kind of fall behind. I was a little bit surprised, though. I mean, we generally think of them. They are a blue blood. Where they are, they can stones throw away from 5 stars left and right. But yeah, I mean, I think sometimes we give more credit to just, and I say this about preseason all the time. You put these teams in like preseason, you think of a name, and you're just kind of thinking of all the images that flow through the past. But that wasn't all at one time, and it's certainly not now. And so we'll have to see where they come. I was a little bit surprised to hear, that being said, and we'll see if they can kind of turn it over. But it does, and who knows how much of it is, is that compared, who's that compared to? Is that compared to Dan Lanning? Dan Lanning's being fielded questions about his unlimited NIL and having to kind of say, yeah, it is what it is. We're there with the top, but there are other teams at the top that are competing with us. So USC is in Lincoln Riley might be doing what almost everybody across the country has been doing, which is saying we're not where we need to be. Please give us more.
Like Dan Lanning said, if I'm looking at somebody else's ice cream cone, that means mine is melting.
Melting.
Don't worry about anybody.
Great line back.
That is a great analogy, but also a very weird analogy. So everybody's worried about NIL this, NIL that, and like he said, if we truly had all this money, we would never lose, right? That you'd be able to bring in any recruit that you wanted. Nobody would ever decommit because you could pay them whatever they want, and all they have, they play football for you and do a couple commercials and whatever they have to do. Like, it's no matter what the NIL funding and people say about, oh, this school has this much NIL and that's why they're doing this. It still comes down to the relationships, the coaching, if you're going to set these kids up for success in their future and what they're looking for. Because, yeah, sure, money's great. A lot of these kids want a lot of money right now, but not every single one of those high-level recruits is just looking at it like, okay, I'm going to go to Oregon so I can get all of this gear and all of this money and, right now and not worry about my future in continuing to play this sport. So it's going to come down to a lot more than just NIL.
I think it's interesting to hear the conversation from both sides because I think both things are true, that there's probably more money at USC than they realize or recognize. It's probably just, like I assume every institution in America not being used efficiently in every way. But also, I think we can, like you guys were saying, overrate the impact and the amount that they have to some degree. Because, yes, it should be the highest potential, school in the Big Ten. It might always be the highest potential school, but it's going to take USC 5-10 years, I think, to get up to speed at this rate. Like, if they don't have a splashy year one, that just adds another couple of years onto a school that should be ahead, is probably more ahead than it realizes in some ways, but further behind in others.
Yeah, it's tough to tell. I mean, obviously they're kind of flipping over like many teams across the country too. Is getting a new you have defensive problems. Try to find a new coordinator, new system, see how that works. But specifically, kind of their playing style and Lincoln Riley. Is that going to transition well to the Big Ten with a new quarterback? Nebraska, we'll see. I mean, that is one game that I'm very interested in because USC, like we've said before, that one being at the Coliseum, if they're not having a great season, it goes from a potentially daunting environment to kind of, when it's not filled up, it kind of feels like USC, it's hard for them to get up for that game. So
how many Nebraska fans take over the Coliseum if USC's not having a good year?
Could happen. I've heard from a lot of fans that's the destination this year.
Yeah, I mean, you got the that's going to be a destination for a lot of Husker fans year in and year out is either USC or UCLA, whichever away game it is. It's, I get to go to California in October or November. Yeah, sure. Sign me up. That's going to be great. Late in December, you're going to be hopefully hosting a playoff game at Memorial Stadium. So you might as well get your warm weather games in now, right?
But did you guys mind? I mean, I know Isaac Gifford said, why not all of them? Troy Dannon mentioned 12-0 during our interview with him. Matt Rule on the Pat McAfee show was talking about the goal being the playoff, and especially at this time of year. Does that feel right to you guys?
I mean, you never want to say that you're going to lose any games, right? Like, you don't want to sit there and say, oh, we're going to go 8-4, because that, as Matt Rule said on the Pat McAfee show, that means that I think we're going to lose 4 games. Like that, you don't want to say that, but every team's goal is to make the playoff, and I agree with that. But to me personally, and this is not saying that it's the floor or it's it's the floor, and not saying that this is the goal, but it's just to at first get to bowl eligibility. And I think Nebraska, for this season, for this second year of Matt Rule, for this first season of a true freshman quarterback at the helm, and for everything that you have returning, just finish inside the top 25, which I think would be 8-9 wins, which could potentially get you into the playoff if you win the right games. Or if you don't lose the right games. Which one is more important?
Well, the path is finishing 3rd or 4th in the Big Ten, from the outside. But if we're talking about it from the coaches and the players' perspective, I liked what Rule had to say. I don't remember if it was at the podium or on his Pat McAfee appearance with us, whoever it was with. But you're saying he'd be stupid not to, mention championships and the goal and give the guys something to work for in the off season. Where you get into trouble is thinking that, oh yeah, we're working hard, so we're going to go to the college football playoff just because we're working hard. Well, no, not necessarily. It's not just that simple, right? So yes, dangle that carrot out there of, hey, this is our overall goal. But I think now, and at least within a week, that has to move to the back burner, right? You have to have it there, have it be mentioned, because you need to keep that potential reward out there for the team. But you also can't make it the focus. Oh, we have to make the college football playoff. Oh, we have to do this, this, and this to make the college football playoff. No, just do this. Just go make your block. Go hit your hole. Go throw your pass. Go catch your pass. Go make your tackle.
Go beat Utah.
And those are the things that add up into a college football playoff appearance. That, yeah, it's unlikely. Yeah, if it happens, I would be absolutely floored and shocked. But you're not going to get there if all you talk about is the college football playoff. But you're also not going to get there if you never talk about it.
It needs to be mentioned.
Yes.
You can't just, you're not going to fall into it. You're not going to, just because you're Nebraska, you're not going to get blessed with, oh, well, you won this many games, so I guess we'll put you in the playoff. Like that's not going to be it. You have to do all of the little things to get there.
Well, it's also interesting to me because I as much as there is talk and there is, everybody, the goals of the college football playoff is it's already changing in what we already thought. And I don't know what the future of these conference championship games are, because that used to be the talk is like, all right, we can win a national championship, but first we got to take care of our conference. Now it's very much in the Big Ten and the SEC. Yeah, finish in the top 3 or 4, and then we'll see. Once you're in a playoff, if you're healthy, what kind of goes right there. But it's very much the focus has been taken off winning the conference.
Well, and I think the other important focus that's been taken off of is going undefeated. With expansion, with more tough games every week. Like, we don't expect the Super Bowl champion to go undefeated. We don't. There's a reason it was a big deal when Rico's Patriots were making their chase, in 2007. Let's not forget how that ended. Just while we're here on that fact.
Can you stop?
No, I can't stop. Actually,
can you stop?
But the path of the playoff used to be which undefeated conference champion had the best resume. That would determine seeding. Now that's going to determine the top 4, maybe the top 5, maybe 6 potentially. But it's going to be less about going undefeated against the hardest schedule you think you can manage. And now it's going to be more about, did you win the game in front of you? You're going to be forgiven for losses in terms of making the playoff, but then you're still going to have those same granular conversations of undefeated conference champion resumes within the top 4 to 6. And that's just a portion of the playoff instead of the whole playoff.
Well, who was, I don't remember if it was from SEC Media Days or from Big Ten Media Days, or I don't even remember who it was, but I remember seeing this quote that was kind of taking a shot at Nick Saban when he was at Alabama, or just the Alabama as a whole when Nick Saban was there, where it was they didn't schedule for the fans to see the best games. They scheduled to win the national championship at the end. They weren't scheduling hard non-conference games because they were trying to win more games and get to the national championship.
Well, it's all the same, in college football now as it is in college basketball. You're going to schedule ahead to some degree, but really it's, you hope the teams that are on your non-conference schedule have a good year in their conference, that you beat them by enough points, and that you finish as close to the top of your conference as possible. Right? Before we knew exactly what the resume checklist was to get into the playoff. That's why it was so wild to see Florida State left out, because they hit all the criteria. And then we all of a sudden added one the last year. Well, guess what? Now we're having more of a college basketball style discussion. Who deserves the 1, who deserves the 2, rather than who deserves to get in.
It's that Team USA, the dream team selection. I had met all the criteria, all the requirements. I just wasn't selected. That was Florida State last year. And that's going to happen year in and year out. It's going to continue to happen regardless if it's the BCS model that Bach loves so much, or the 4-team playoff, or now the 12-team playoff, or if we go to 16 or however many teams we're going to start throwing into the playoff. Somebody's going to get left out and somebody's going to be upset about it, regardless of what it is. So that's going to do it for this section. We're going to head over to the Chris crossover. We're going to bring Strick in, get his take on a little bit of what happened at Big Ten Media Days, and then we'll hand it off to the guys on the block. You're listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Get ready, Husker fans. The Big Red Preview is coming soon. Join us Saturday night, August 3rd, for an exclusive look at your Nebraska football team in action. Experience the excitement, the energy, the sights and sounds of a game day as the 2024 football season kicks off. Visit Huskers.com/tickets and bring your family, friends, and all your Big Red pride to Memorial Stadium Saturday night, August 3rd. That's Huskers.com/tickets. Brought to you by Husker Athletics and 1890 Nebraska. Winning tradition, future success.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Come enjoy a show of the Midwest's best MMA on Saturday, August 10th at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. 9 fights are scheduled for the night, including professional lightweight and welterweight bouts, and the main event of Donnie Bush versus Micah Washington in the professional welterweight championship bout. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the MMA fighters and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
The next generation of Huskers starts now. Join the official Kids Club of Nebraska Athletics today to score access to select home games, a discount at the team store, and endless Husker spirit. The free JV team gets you started with a game credential. Upgrade to the $35 Little Huskers membership for a welcome box and VIP Little Huskers experiences. Fuel your Husker spirit. Join the Kids Club today at huskers.com/Kids Club. Go Big Red.
Stevens & Smith Construction is a full-service, employee-owned concrete company that specializes in residential and commercial foundations and flat work. They've been a leader in the concrete industry since 1971, with nearly 250 employees combining for more than 2,000 years of service. With locations in Lincoln, Omaha, and Kansas City, they're united in quality, integrity, and professionalism to create excellence in construction. Learn more today at stevensandsmith.com.
Are you tired of the same old entertainment options? How about something that's truly fun for both kids and adults? Nebraska Knockerball, the new place to go for your private and corporate parties. Step inside one of their inflatable spears and let out stress in a healthy form of exercise. Or try the human foosball, foot darts, yard pong, giant beer pong, basketball Connect 4, and much more. Nebraska Knockerball, specializing in physical, engaging fun. Call Nebraska Knockerball today at 402-460-8724 to learn more or book a reservation now.
The weather is hot, the kids are out of school, and you're on your way to the lake and summer road trips. Are you getting to your vacation spot comfortably, or is your car letting you down? Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride for summer road trips and beyond. Mullen Motors.
No tag-ons, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Play ball! Tired of the same old routine? Then bring your crew out to Haymarket Park for a thrilling season of Lincoln Salt Dogs baseball and unleash the fun. Enjoy action-packed home games all week long from May through August. It's the perfect change-up to the typical family night or makes for a home run outing with friends and coworkers. Experience the magic and get in on the excitement. Visit saltdogs.com to secure your tickets now. Unleash the fun.
Join us each Saturday from 11 a.m. to noon for Youth Football 101 with Tank Perry of the Nebraska Red Wolves of 7-on-7 football. The future of the sport depends on the foundation set at a young age. Hear those stories and more each Saturday from 11 a.m. to noon here on 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
Him and tell me there's a God.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
He made me in his own image.
Sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Gentlemen, we finally have our chances to talk as our friends out in Indianapolis are headed home to Nebraska and to wherever else they may be going. I think Carricker might still have some things to pack up in Colorado as he makes his move back to Nebraska, and I think Amon might be headed back to Texas. I don't know where everybody's headed, but at some point, everybody will be back here in Nebraska as we are joined by Eric Strickland. How you doing, sir?
Strickland. I'm doing good, man.
Haven't seen you for a few days.
No, man. And it's okay, man. And it's no
Wait.
Wait,
Okay,
what
are we doing
accent are you-
Spanish?
yeah,
Are we
what
doing
accent are
Italian?
you
Are we
doing?
doing Jamaican?
It's no
Where are we
problem,
going?
my friend.
We're just doing accents, man.
We do whatever we want to do in here.
I'm finding that.
What's
I'm half Count Dracula.
Yeah,
half Count Dracula. Remember the count?
Yeah.
A 1, a 2, a 3. I'm half him and half Puerto Rican and
half whatever you
half
are.
Jamaican.
All kinds of halves. That's what's going on here. That's what's going on here. Strick,
what up, man?
how much Big Ten Media Days were you paying attention to?
A little bit, not much.
A lot of Nebraska?
Because like I watched snippets in pieces because you want to kind of stay up on what's going on or whatever, but there were some awkward moments out there.
Shout out to UCLA.
But then it's what can you really glean?
You know
what I mean?
Coaches really like the 3 players that they brought. They think their rosters are really set. Any new coach is not going to call it a rebuild. They're going to do what they have to do, and they're still going to win games. They're not going to lose a lot. Any mid coach thinks that they have a chance to make the playoff. Any really good coach is trying to downplay how good they really are.
That's
Right?
the
Am I-
whole pretty much sequence of it.
Did I get it?
At the top tier, some are probably trying to be a little bit more humility so they can manage expectations a
Dan
little
Lanning.
bit different, right? But other than that, it's really not much to glean. So for me, I would say more than any time it was a lot of coach speak than more than any time. And you want to do that because there's so many unknowns. The Big Ten has now become coast to coast.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, he's back! Like he never left. Tricky. Woo!
It's unfreaking believable. It's
You
like,
never miss. You never miss.
You remember how Snoop Dogg said that?
Yeah.
Man, that man don't miss. It just never misses, and it's the same freaking phone.
My man's batting 1,000. Never misses.
No, I had him turn it off
Oh,
that
yeah,
one
you did.
time.
But
so.
if you didn't, it would have run.
Yeah, that's projecting. That's an assumption.
Thank you,
So,
man.
Okay,
yeah.
fine. He's batting 750. Still pretty solid. It's still pretty solid.
Especially in baseball. That's real solid.
I had a question for you,
so
and
yeah.
I forgot it because your phone rang. It just threw me off. What are you doing? You just gonna give it to him?
It would have went off again had I not turned it off. But no, what's the question?
I don't remember. Your phone rang. It threw me off. I had it locked.
Are we
and
doing-
loaded.
we're doing
Oh! I know. I remember.
Tom Thibodeau extension.
No. I'll ask that later. After this one. I don't know how many people caught it, but when Ben Scott was on our airwaves, he did say that he was really excited to block for Dylan Raiola, and that the first game of the season would be his first start as a true freshman. All of the. I'm just saying that Ben Scott may or may not have broken the news that Raiola is going to be the starter. I don't know how much breaking news that is. I'm just saying the coaches haven't officially named one, but the center said it.
Well, that ain't even a woo.
It's not. It's not. Like we all
this guy's
assumed it.
literally up under your sack.
What are we doing?
And I mean, you know who's there. Like when people are behind you and at your sack, pause.
Can you
It's a
stop?
pause moment. I mean, I'm just saying, you know who's there. So you're not just gonna be spewing out names. Pop me up. Don't act like that.
Well, I mean, I think I mean, all these moves in the offseason it would be disappointing if he wasn't the starter. So I mean, it's kind of assumed, yeah. So and I think still assumed. I don't know if one
Like I said,
player
it's not
saying something.
It's not breaking news,
You
but
would,
it is.
you would literally, I can't even say outplay or overplay. Like you would literally have to blow the doors. Like it would have to be so obvious that, you know, Bach beat me. Like just say it's me and Bach. Like this is how the quarterback situation. Bach can shoot. Bach can do his thing.
Yeah,
that's right.
But let's be honest. Bach ain't.
Bach would have to
go there.
Bach would have to do what your phone does and not miss.
Bach would literally have to not miss. Like he would have to totally dominate me, like South Sudan did. The guard was doing to what was his name again?
Carlik Jones.
Carlik Jones.
Yeah,
Carlik Jones.
Domination.
Hey, you can't spell Carlik without that L though.
Like that. But not only do that, he would have to duplicate it on
over
and over, and not one day, over and over and over again, giving me that work. That would have to be what it like. So you can, like he said, assume, but let's be honest, you would have to totally beat him out. Like there's
Would
like
Harvard
no
have to-
question.
Harvard would have to be
Like
that
you can't
much
be
more
the
dominant.
Riddler. You can't walk in there with the green and the question marks on, you know, thinking you making the right decision with that. That's where I view.
Well, and Matt Rule did say something that I thought was interesting is that he would actually embrace a close game against UTEP because Nebraska needs to get over the hump and win those close games. Envisioning that, I know he said that the fans wouldn't necessarily like that, but especially when you envision Dylan Raiola in his first start close game against UTEP, I don't know if I'm feeling as comfortable as Coach Rule.
Okay, but let's just think about what he's saying in theory more so than in practice, right? Like, you don't want to lose to your kids to pick a basketball, but sometimes it takes them scaring you to say, oh, yeah, I can't mess around anymore like I used to be able to. I have to go back to fundamentals. I have to go back to basics. And, you know, UTEP ought not to be fantastic, but they're good enough to beat you. So if Nebraska's scared by UTEP, the hope is that it's not, oh, we got lucky, or, you know, oh, yeah, look how good we are because we finally won a close game. It's, hey, what do we have to do to make sure this isn't a close game the next time? You got to point up.
Teacher, I have a question.
Can you
It's going to be a long 2 hours.
Listen,
what is wrong with you?
One
today?
of my favorite movies, just to pack on the, you know, put on the top, the cherry on the top of what my partner just said. Now listen, there's one of my classic movies. I even have it on my Instagram, Be Strict 2020. But it was The Last Dragon.
Okay.
And on The Last Dragon, you have two sides of the coin. One, the negative energy, red, bad. He's the negative master. Then you had one that was trying to figure out how he's the master. And there's a scene in there where he says they finally square up on each other. And he says to him, "Playtime's over, boy." You got to go look it up. Playtime's over. Like
camp starts Wednesday.
It is no playtime anymore. He said, "Playtime's over, boy." Like anything that you thought you was just gonna be able to kind of, you know, just walk on water in, and there it starts. Like it's really about to go down. And I'm hoping that there's no hiccup because it can affect Nebraska's season, and that's not what I want. I really want it to be clean. I want the you know, let me just please, this ain't a political statement, okay? But what just happened with Joe Biden, who said, "I'm bowing out." I don't want that to be, because there was a lot of propping up for a long time. Oh, he's good. Everything's good. There's no problem. He's the man. You know, that's what we've been hearing. And then all of a sudden, so I don't want that. I don't want Nebraska bringing us a whole bunch of, yeah, he's good, but he ain't. Yeah, you know, he's throwing the ball with great zip and it ain't no pop. Yeah, he's not making mistakes and he's fumbling all over the place. Don't just tell it like it is. Show me what it is, and then let me, you know, be able to judge it accordingly. Not don't false me up, and then all of a sudden we look at the game and it's a freaking Garbo.
And you're losing
North
to the
Dakota,
minors.
Georgia Southern.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
you're in
all
a
I'm
position
saying.
You're like,
So-
you shouldn't be here right now.
You feel
Right.
me, Buck?
Yeah, I feel it.
Buck, you like that? How about see? Buck, you ain't seen that in a while. Buck.
No.
Me
I
and you
missed
ain't been
those,
together
yeah.
in a while. You know what I mean?
Austin, you have a long 2 hours ahead of you.
Hour 45 now, but who's counting? It's going to be a good time. It's good to have Stricky back. It's been a couple days. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome.
A lot of coffee there. What's coming up for the next 2 hours for you two?
Well, in case people missed any of our coverage, we're just going to listen back to some of the stuff that Matt Rule had to say, especially get into the weeds a little bit more with it. What did he say? What do we think he meant by it? So this first hour will be spent reacting to Matt Rule, as well as playing Shootout with Strick at 2:45.
This champ is here.
We'll see. You got to earn it.
Champ is here.
You got to earn it. And then we'll replay our guys' conversation with Troy Dannon from Indianapolis. Thought that was a good conversation. Want to hear from the AD again. And Thirsty Thursday. Stricky made it back just in time. So that'll end out the show.
Stricky is way too excited for that. Way too excited. Thank you all for listening to the Happy Hour. Again, today was our final day of Big Ten coverage in Indianapolis. We want to thank our sponsors one more time: 1890 Nebraska, Stevens & Smith Construction, The Complex, Warhorse Casino, and Riddles Jewelry for sending our guys out there. Hopefully they can make it back safe and sound. You can hear all their voices tomorrow here on 93.7 The Ticket. That's going to do it for us on the Happy Hour. Adios. Come enjoy a show of the Midwest's best MMA on Saturday, August 10th at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. 9 fights are scheduled for the night, including professional lightweight and welterweight bouts, and the main event of Donnie Bush versus Micah Washington in the professional welterweight championship bout. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the MMA fighters and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com.
Get ready, Husker fans. The Big Red Preview is coming soon. Join us Saturday night, August 3rd, for an exclusive look at your Nebraska football team in action. Experience the excitement, the energy, the sights and sounds of a game day as the 2024 football season kicks off. Visit Huskers.com/tickets and bring your family, friends, and all your Big Red pride to Memorial Stadium Saturday night, August 3rd. That's Huskers.com/tickets. Brought to you by Husker Athletics and 1890 Nebraska. Winning tradition, future success.